in all seriousness,
Please.
I looked at the film and he did step out of bounds, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there right now.
That's a big part of it.
But
What do you mean you're not going to go there right now? You just went there.
I mean, I know you did. I know you did, but
I stepped out of bounds?
I stepped out of bounds.
They don't even have that
I gotta
camera
stop.
angle of the
I
baseline
gotta
like
stop.
that.
All I know is I gotta stop.
Welcome to Out of Bounds. We are here for the NBA round 1 recap, or sorry, round 2 recap and round 3 preview. Yeah, the conference semifinals are over now. There's only 4 teams left. The competition is pretty intense. I mean, it's pretty exciting. On the East, we'll get, a first time finals appearance from, a team that definitely hasn't been there in a while. The Cavs, obviously since LeBron, and then, the Knicks, I don't even know what, like 1960 probably, when there were still like crazy like civil rights movements and shit going on back then.
Yeah, basically.
There's mad logs that they haven't made the finals, but they're almost there. And then on the other side, we have Thunder Spurs. But before we get into that, let's kind of break down the other series, right? Um, we can start with the East. I think last time we started with the West. Let's go to the Pistons Cavs series. So Cleveland ends up winning the series 4-3. It does go to game 7. Um I don't know. I think the Pistons, they've been a pretty weird one seed. They were a 60 win team this season, but I think they faced elimination like 4 or 5 times in their playoff run. I guess they did manage to come back from 3-1 and win round 1 against like a pretty bad Magic team that looked like it was falling apart before. But there's only so many times that you can face elimination and then like bring enough energy to squeak out a win. And I feel like in game 7, their team just kind of fell apart. Their leading scorer was like Dennis Jenkins with 17 points, who shot 4 of 12. A lot of offensive issues for the Pistons beyond Cade. But yeah, what are your guys' quick thoughts on this Cavs Pistons series?
Yeah, I think definitely coming back down from 3-1 definitely takes a lot out of you. And then, not many teams, I mean, I think literally only the Nuggets have been able to do it twice in a row. And I think the fact that it went to 7 games says a little bit about both teams, things that they did and things that they didn't do. Obviously, we know like the Pistons did not really have like a reliable second option besides Tobias Harris for a few games. Even game 7, though, he just was not present. So that's like I think their biggest issue and something they're gonna have to look into in the offseason. I think Jalen Duren is just probably not gonna get that super max contract that we thought he was gonna get in the regular season. And so that's their biggest issue. Just you could chalk it up to lack of playoff experience, nerves, all that stuff, but ultimately it's just not gonna cut it. So they do have some, I think, reorganizing to do. As far as the Cavs, I think initially they just did not have contributions from enough people. Evan Mobley, even Max Strus, he did eventually show up big time later. Um, James Harden was a little bit off and on this entire series. There were definitely like 2 or 3 games where he contributed a lot. Really got bailed out on like game 7 in which he was atrocious. So I guess the Harden curse is broken, at least just for that series. We'll see what happens in this one. So I think it really could have gone either way. And, the losses that each team had really had more to do with them just not showing up versus like the other team doing anything super outstanding. Besides like a couple of defensive stretches that I think were noteworthy.
Yeah, I think like the Pistons offense was under like question for the entire series, and after they came back from like 3-1 on like a first round, I think most people picked Cavs to win it anyway. But it was surprising that they went up 2-0, but it was still like they were missing something. Like I just feel like Jalen Duren is not like playoff material yet. It was just Cade Cunningham the entire series, and I just feel like that pit that they had where like they had like no offensive players. I think it played out even more against Cavs, who basically had like stars who can create their own shot. They had Donovan Mitchell, they had like James Harden, and like I think like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley like had like a great series. Because I felt like the Pistons like front court was good enough to defend against them, but I saw like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley like doing whatever they want. So like I think Pistons have to revisit their defense because their defense was actually bad this series. The entire time they've been like coveted for their defense. They were like the best defensive team. But I think like Cavs broke them down, and they have like a lot to look at. But I think the first thing they're going to be doing this offseason is like trying to get some offense, some playmaking skills in the playoffs, more than Cade Cunningham, and then hopefully like the other things will pan out. But it's still like a win for them this series. I mean, this year, like they finished first seed in the East. They made it to the second round. I think like that's where most people think that they exceeded or at least met expectations this season. They just couldn't overdo it, but still like a great season for them.
What
Yeah,
do
I
you
think
think,
there's like a
Shruth?
lot of questions. Oh, good. I think there's a lot of questions about like that team in general. Duran is definitely one. I mean, he's like a kind of like plays like a traditional center, but he did have like a little bit of like not like mid-range game, but like he could score from like further than the rim, and it wasn't just like finishes, at least during the regular season. But doing that in the playoffs is like a whole different animal when like the defense is a little bit tighter, like half court offense becomes a little bit more important. um I think he has to figure some stuff out. I just like don't know though if like the Pistons will really let him go. I think ideally, yeah, you don't want to max someone like that, but I think ultimately this is probably a team that's looking for their like bona fide second option. Like who's their real like second scoring guy? Like I think they wanted it to be Jaden Ivey, who they drafted a few years ago, but obviously like that didn't work out. They traded him. There was maybe hope that Jalen Duren could do it, but I don't think going into next season you can bank on that. Um, and yeah, I mean, as for the Cavs, I think Donovan Mitchell definitely got loose. Towards the end of the series, like I don't know. He's such an up and down player. Like I think some games he looks really good, and then other games he kind of like shoots pretty poorly. But he's had like insane scoring bursts in this series that like the Pistons really couldn't match. Um, and yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, I think they did a good job on the season so far, but like they obviously didn't have enough to kind of go forward. But I don't know. It's hard to like I think like the Cavs like kind of got like some nice matchups on their side to get to this far. But let's see how they do against the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Pistons, you could still hang your hat on the fact that you almost got to the conference finals. It's been a pretty big turnaround if you compare their sort of performance in the last few seasons. So you can sort of see this as a huge stepping stone. Obviously, the next step is to get to that conference finals. And for the Cavs, this is actually, it's still pretty huge, considering they were the first seed last year and just put up a big stinker in the playoffs. I think both teams obviously have a lot going for them here, even regardless of the results.
Yeah, for sure. You guys have anything on the Cavs Pistons, or we could go? Otherwise, we could go to the other series.
No, let's keep going.
All right. I think this other recap will be pretty quick too. The Knicks end up sweeping the Sixers. I mean the Sixers had a crazy first round. Like they beat the Celtics, who were such I feel like a lot of people had the Celtics as the favorites to come out of the East. Even though the Knicks were there, I think a lot of people picked the Celtics and a lot of people believed it was the best team. So I don't know. I think it's still slightly. I think that series is disappointing. Just that like the Sixers couldn't even get at least one game on them. Um, but I don't know. Overall, I don't think you could call it like a complete failure when you at least like got past the first round, which probably no one thought you would do really. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was like they fought really hard to get past the Celtics. I feel like Joel Embiid missed that first game against the Knicks, and then I forget if he missed the first game or the second game, but like that first game they basically just played it immediately after the game 7, so it's kind of a scheduled loss. But then once you go down 0-2, it becomes pretty hard, right? Then you have to win a lot of games in a row. But I think the Knicks, like their offense has been pretty crazy. Like they've had games now, like the closeout game that they had against the Hawks, they scored a crazy amount of points. One second, I'm just gonna pull it up. Yeah. To close out the series against the Hawks, they score 126, 140. And then the first game against the Sixers, they score 137. And then the closeout game against the Sixers, they score 144. And like two of those four games that I just mentioned were also on the road. So that's just like a crazy offensive output. Like their offense was clicking. They're using Cat a little bit more. Um, But yeah, I mean, the Sixers just didn't really have an answer for the Knicks. Like maybe like in short spurts they could, but they could never really sustain an effort throughout the game. What were your guys' thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean they had like two good opportunities to win at least two of those games. And it really just came down to the last second just for kind of collapsing at the end. Chalk it up to inexperience, chalk it up to some of their players just not really showing up, like, VJ Edgecombe just not really being there as much as he needed to, like he was in the Celtics series. Um, you know, from that Celtics series, we clearly saw, as we predicted in the other podcast, that Celtics did not really have an answer for Joel Embiid. A little bit different in the Knicks series because they just have some bigger players, right? They got OG, premier defender. They got Cat. They got Mitchell Robinson. So they just have a lot more big bodies to throw at Joel Embiid, and I just think ultimately the Knicks were just a better team. They just had a lot more consistent players, even coming off the bench. So I didn't really think it was going to be a sweep. Like you know, I thought it was going to be at least like one game, but ultimately, the Knicks are the better team. So this is going to make for a better conference finals, as we're seeing right now. Just so you guys know, we are recording this while the Cavs and Knicks game is going on. The conference final game one. It is currently 50-49 right in the beginning of the third quarter. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so I mean, we can after Vish goes, I guess we can kind of go through the preview of that as well.
Yeah, this Knicks 76ers, like I think like Embiid being injured, especially like for the first game he played and the second game he rested, that made a huge difference. I know they didn't have Embiid for most of the season, but like I feel like he was making a difference in the Celtics series. And like at this point, they just like ran out of gas. Like VJ Edgecombe, like Tyrese Maxey, everybody wasn't what I saw in the Celtics series. Like Jalen Brunson was averaging, I think, like about 29 points a game, and then Tyrese Maxey is looking at like 18 points a game. So like Knicks just had like I think like a complete playoff team. Like they just had the better bench. They were playing defense, offense. Like I think they were just like outlasting 76ers in every possible way. I was just surprised the Celtics couldn't do this because I thought Celtics would treat the 76ers the way the Knicks would. But for some reason, like the Celtics just couldn't guard the 76ers backcourt. But the Knicks, even though they have Jalen Brunson, who's only like 6 foot, like they were still like good enough defensively. And I just felt like they've had too much firepower and like they just think that this is their year. They need to get to the finals and possibly win the championship. So they just showed like who the better team was. 76ers just take the win, I guess. They got to the second round. They got farther than like most people thought. But yeah, like hats off to the Knicks though. Like I just feel like they just didn't let anyone else down and they were just like showing the people like who they are.
I think it's time, bro. I think it's time for the Sixers to move on from the process. Like, I don't know. I think you just gotta keep Edgecombe and Maxi and explore your options for Joel Embiid. So someone's got to call up Giannis.
It's like I think he said that last about Rudy Gobert. It's like next time you see like Embiid is gonna be like some
Yeah.
godly player like leading the charge against like I'm dead. Yeah. Let's kind of get into the preview now that we mention it. Cavs Knicks. Um, I mean, just quick thoughts on the series. Like, I think the Knicks are definitely, heavily favored. I think they probably would have been favored no matter what against like as long as they made it to the conference finals compared to the other side of the bracket, considering like the Celtics was probably the other strong team and they got eliminated at round one. Um, I do think the Cavs probably pose a little bit more of a challenge to them than the Pistons do, just because like if the Pistons aren't producing enough offense to like run like they bear like to get past like the Magic and like obviously they couldn't get past the Cavs. Like I don't think they would be able to produce enough offense to like compete with the Knicks. But the Cavs, like you still have like that challenge of like, okay, you gotta guard Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. Obviously they're gonna be up and down, but they're still gonna have like their moments and they're still gonna be a tough cover. And then on top of that, you still have like the two big men in Mobley and Jared Allen to kind of deal with Cat. So I would still expect the Knicks to win, but I think it'll be a tough series. And like, I don't know how you guys feel about this. Maybe I'm just like a hater, but like, I feel like all the times that like we just like put faith in the Knicks, like somehow, some way, they just figure out a way to lose, right? And it's like this year you're
Yeah.
looking at it and you're like, dude, this is the most clear path that they have to the finals. That's literally what I thought last year, and then the Pacers like pulled some shit and like beat them. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
you never really know with this team. Like, I know that like they're right there, and like I want them to actually make it just because I feel bad, but like, bruh, this is a team that like no matter what happens, like somehow they'll find a way to like lose. So that's like the only like thing that I have against it that's like preventing me from being confident in them. But I'll still pick them to win in like 6 games or so. But I don't know, man.
Ah,
Raj
man.
just sounding like Stephen A. He's like, what can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah, what can go wrong with the Knicks will go wrong. Yeah, man. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna just straight off the bat go 7 games with this. I just think Cavs finally got back here. James Harden is finally back in the conference final. This is Donovan Mitchell's first conference finals, so both of them have a lot to prove, especially with Harden's conference finals history. So, um, hopefully they play with a little bit of oomph, and seems like they are, at least the way the game's going. Um, and the Knicks also have a lot to prove too. I mean, like you said, this is the clearest path, especially since the Celtics are gone. Um, so I think it's just really going to come down to like who has more players that contribute, not just like offensively, just in general, right? Like, think about it. The Cavs, of course, like you're going to have James Harden, hopefully does what he does. Donovan Mitchell's probably going to show up. I have no, worries about that. But you really need your Jared Allens and your Evan Mobleys to show up, not because like you're expecting them to score like 25 points or whatever. I mean, this is like a defensive player of the year, right? Like a former defensive player of the year. So he's got to at least show up in that aspect, against your OGs, against your like cats, right? But then also just like you got to be that lob threat. It's not really about being the lob threat. It's about drawing the attention so players like James Harden can, be a little bit more free and use his court vision a little bit more. So if they can do that, I think they can get this, but it's not going to be easy. So my prediction is going to be still Knicks in 7. I just think they have a little bit more grit and consistency, so I'm gonna go with them.
Yeah, I think like the turnover is probably gonna be a problem here. Like the Cavs at least, like they have a turnover problem even in the Pistons series, which probably cost them some games. Knicks are pretty good in transition. Like they're really quick and like they're gonna bounce off the turnover. So like I feel like that's gonna be a difference as well. And like what can Harden do? Because right now, like I still feel like Harden's a defensive liability right now. Because like I think ever since like they traded for Harden, like their offense did get better, but like the defense took a haul as well. So I'm hoping like the Knicks can capitalize on that. That those are the two reasons I feel like the Knicks probably gonna win this. But as we speak, like I think like the Cavs are winning by 10 game one.
Oh no.
They're doing pretty good. Like their offense is showing up against the Knicks. Hopefully we get like a back and forth, but I think it's gonna be probably like Knicks in 6 for this one.
Yeah, I mean, dude, good point about the turnovers, right? Like, so mainly pointing at James Harden here, but like, it's not even that he gets a lot of turnovers. It's that when he does, his ass is not going back on defense. Like, he's just gonna be chilling in the backcourt. Like, I have not seen this man run back for like a stop like in forever. So it's like a twofold problem. So if he can cut down on that, it's gonna be huge. But I think he averages like 8 turnovers or something in this playoffs or something like that. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Plus, I don't know like if Harden and like Donovan Mitchell can guard Jalen Brunson because the limited game that I did watch, like Knicks, their primary offense is just like running pick and rolls and doing ISO on Jalen Brunson, which would mean that you're not getting help. So like Harden
Yeah.
or Donovan Mitchell has to step up. That's going to be something I watch in this series.
They might put Max Strus on his ass.
They could
Yeah.
try.
Yeah.
I wonder if Donovan Mitchell will just play with like a little bit of a chip. Like, I mean, I know he's like a New York guy or whatever, and like there were like the trade rumors and stuff in the past where like, like before the Knicks landed Brunson, like, Mitchell was like definitely like a guy that they targeted for sure. It didn't end up happening. So I don't know if he feels like some type of way about that, but definitely like, I think although like I would say the Cavs play a lot better on the road too. So like I feel like if they could steal one of these first two, while they're on the road, like then like they have a real chance at least like making sure it's a long series. Um and then you just got to see how it goes at that point. But
I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
happy for Donovan Mitchell, man. Like, how are you gonna let like Ludi like get to the conference final before you? Like I know he was like on
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards' team, but still,
Yeah.
like he went to 2 Western Conference Finals after
You throw it all the way back to the Jazz days, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
dude, yeah, it would just be cool having like NBA Finals like on the East Coast. So like, yeah, I really do want the Knicks to win.
Yeah, for sure. All right. If we're good on that series, we could kind of transition over to the West. Yeah, I mean, these two series were pretty like, quick, I guess. We can start with the Spurs. The Spurs defeat the Timberwolves 4-2. I think the Timberwolves came out and stole game 1, and then I think it's game 4. I forget where I think Wemby like elbows like Naz Reid or whatever,
Yeah.
gets suspended for the game. The Wolves end up winning that game. Then San Antonio just wins the next two. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think the Wolves just kind of ran out a little bit of out of energy. I think I did pick them to win initially because I thought Anthony Edwards would kind of get healthier as like it went on, but he honestly like didn't seem that healthy to me by the end. And I think the thing that like sucked for him is like he's obviously like a pretty athletic player, like he relies on explosiveness, and I don't think he was really tapping into that explosiveness like Anthony Edwards is the type of player I'd imagine that would like try to dunk on Wemby, like even though it's not going to work or it probably won't work. I still feel like he's the type of guy to try it, but he wasn't really able to do that. They did have a lot of injuries, obviously, with like the Dante DiVincenzo being hurt. And then like, dude, I think I just looked and like because of the Dante injury, like they had to play like basically Mike Conley had to play like 20 minutes every game. And I'm just like, dude, like this is like it's like a pure target for like the Spurs to go at like every single time that
Yeah.
they're down on the floor. And I don't know, that lack of depth like definitely caught up to them there. You know, like in the playoffs, like it does matter a lot like how deep your team is. They relied a lot on like Terrence Shannon Jr. and like Mike Conley and guys like that, without um Dante DiVincenzo, but yeah, ultimately, like they just didn't really have enough to keep up with the Spurs, who are obviously in the conference finals. They played pretty well, other than that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this series, guys?
Yeah, like two things you said, right? Man, the Dante injury was so huge. Not just because like he's a shot maker, but he kind of plays that like Alex Caruso role a little bit, bringing the ball up. He's a pretty good defender too. So even like he guards like some bigger players, like that's huge for them, right? And like you're trading that for Mike Conley, a guy, sure a vet, but like a defensive liability, like through and through. So that's just not gonna work. And it's so many stretches where they're just like not making shots. Anthony Edwards does not have the bounce that that he had before. The funniest thing that I saw, I think, during that series was like Chris Finch, I think the first game when Terrence Shannon went off, he was like, "Man, I've been playing Terrence Shannon on the wing this whole time. I didn't know I should have been giving the ball. Like it took you the whole season and the playoffs like figure that out. Like it's so crazy." Um, but yeah, it just was not gonna like work. Like they actually did a decent job on like Wemby, like in like some aspects, like just boxing him out and just like being very physical with him. That's kind of what you need to do, but it's just I don't know. They just did not have enough. Maybe if they had Dante, maybe if Ant Edwards was fully healthy, then this would go a little bit farther. Um, you also the biggest thing about facing the Spurs, as we know, like Wemby in the paint, Julius Randle, right? Like his whole thing is give it to me on my left. I'm gonna drive down, do some turnaround like bullshit. Um, he can't do that anymore. So what does that mean? He's gonna turn into a goddamn 3-point shooter, which is literally the opposite of what you want Julius Randle to do. So yeah, I think that was one of their biggest weaknesses for sure. So it is what it is. No conference final 3 times in a row. We'll see how they recalibrate.
Yeah, I think like Anthony Edwards wasn't the player that we knew. I know he went off for some games, but I think like his efficiency like dropped the series. But like this series, like I was looking into this one question. Do you actually cater like your defense and offense to like play towards Wemby's style where you try to stop Wemby? Or are you just like let Wemby go off, whatever, like let him get a statistical line, but like do not let any of the other role players score? I think we saw a lot of those tactics when LeBron was in his prime, where like teams are just like, bro, you're not stopping LeBron. Like you can try, but that's not gonna happen. So like take out his kryptonite, like take out like his passing, just let him score, let him have his way. but like let him have like a statistical game, but make sure like none of the other players score. So he looks good on like the scoreboard, but you're not winning that game. But I think like Timberwolves tried to do the other way, where like they tried to stop Wemby, and you can see in like Game 6 where like all the role players went off. Like I think they had like a statistical like game from 3 point range, and I think that's where it answers the questions, because going into the OKC series, I see OKC be like, okay, let Wemby go off. It's fine. We're gonna throw like whatever at Wemby. Like if he scores, he scores, but make sure the role players don't show up. I think like this series answered that, like, yeah, you're not stopping Wemby. Like I just feel like most teams should just like stop trying to do that and just like try to like win the game straight out. Let Wemby go off, let him get tired, whatever. But I think Timberwolves should change their tactic to that. Rudy Gobert didn't do much. I'd said before the series I thought Rudy would make the difference, and that's why I'm looking forward to Chet in this series, because I feel like Chet can shoot, which might spread out like Wemby the series. But the Timberwolves series, like he was just playing all out in the paint when Rudy was playing. He did not care. I think like that played out for Timberwolves like demise. Like they had no chance against that. Plus, like all the injuries and all that, I just felt like Spurs were the better team. They should have won in 5, but like the ejection of Wemby, like it pushed it to 6 games. Um, but yeah, like Spurs, I think like for surprise wins, like this is their first time in the playoffs, and they are one of the youngest teams. And for some reason, I just feel like they're playing like very maturely for their age. Like they're not making a lot of mistakes. They're not making a lot of mistakes at the end of quarters. Hats off to the coach too, because I feel like Denver got outcoached when Timberwolves won the series. Like Timberwolves are throwing all the tactics. I don't know if it's like Greg Popovich behind the scenes helping out the coach as well, but they're throwing in a lot of like different tactics that like I feel like the Spurs coach is like really good. It reminds me of like Nick Nurse back when he first took over and he was throwing the box and ones and all that zones. And I see the same like tactics here for the Spurs. So yeah, like I think like Spurs coach like deserves a lot of praise.
Real
Yeah,
quick,
man.
what do you guys think about that elbow and ejection of Wemby? Like, do you think there should have been like some further action afterwards, or do you feel like that was enough?
It's a star player, bro. NBA not doing that.
I think it's crazy they didn't at least fine him though, because like if you don't at least fine him, that just makes it seem like it's okay, which is like crazy. Like in that instance, like I understand it's probably really, really rare that you would get like suspended for like a one-off incident like that. But I feel like you at least gotta fine him to like kind of set the precedent that like, okay, like that was wrong.
Yeah,
Just hitting him with zero is like so weak, dude. Like at least like fine him, bro. Like I don't know.
I think there's some rule where like if you get a flagrant 2, you're automatically supposed to be fined like a minimum of like $2,000 or something.
Yeah.
And like I know they look at like a player's history and like that they take that into account, but and Wemby probably doesn't have that. Um, and I also get the whole idea of like him just being super tall and like people just trying to like strip the ball at all times. So like he's just gonna get hit more in a lot of respects. Um, the fact that the elbow is just at Naz Reid's head just because how tall he is.
No, no,
But
he saw that coming.
he
Like
did
I was in
he
there.
winded that up. Yeah, ultimately like he you could see like his facial expression be neutral, and then he like charges it up, like gets angry, and then he just like elbows the crap out of him. Um, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting like suspension, but a fine would have been nice, like just symbolically. But it is what it is. They're not going to do that to the face of the league.
No, I would accept like maybe he didn't want to elbow like Nas Reid in his throat, but he definitely wanted to elbow him. That was set. He just probably didn't expect him to like right there in his like chin area.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like he definitely knew was coming. I think he should have been fined, but it's still. But I'm just happy like he didn't get suspended or whatever, because like I feel like that's a star player. This is first time, like whatever. Like he learned from it as long as he doesn't repeat it.
Yeah, I think Naz Reid was like, "Yeah, I'm happy he didn't get suspended. I want to face their team at full strength, and now these guys are in Cancun." I was like, "Bro, like, what the heck?" I would take that.
I feel like part of that was also that like I think that play happened like 10 minutes into the game. So like maybe like the league's office is like, bro, he virtually got suspended for that whole game anyways. Like what's the point of suspending
Yeah,
him like one more game on top of that? But I still feel like you have to like issue like some sort of punishment, dude. Like just to show that, bruh, this is wrong. Like you can't be doing that shit. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know, bruh. If I was Draymond or something, bro, like he's like if that was like any other player, like they definitely would have gotten punished more, but I think it's okay.
I
Like
mean,
it
I
is what
mean,
it is.
that's definitely like the craziest elbow we've seen since like Ron Artest on James Harden. It's gotta
Yeah,
be.
that was crazy, bro.
Even though that one was
Ron
worse,
Artest
like
was suspended for 7 games, bro. 7
yeah,
games.
yeah. That one's worse though. Like that was he has a history of it and like the wind up and like they were like just running back in transition. That was I've never seen something like that. All right. Is it time?
Yeah, let's go on to the recap the last series of round 2, which was the Thunder winning 4-0 over the Lakers. Um
I'm just looking at Shruth, man.
Yeah,
You
me
gotta
too.
speak to
I'm dead. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's I don't think the Lakers are as bad of a team as it like looks. I think they're just like the Thunder are a pretty bad matchup for the Lakers. I think that much was proved during the regular season as well. The Lakers really struggled against them, even with Luca. There were a couple games where they got blown out in OKC. Um, and I think part of it is just that like the Thunder have like a crazy amount of depth. And honestly, like watching that whole series, I thought like the Lakers were pretty okay when like LeBron and like their starters were out there. Like I was like, okay, like, but they're like pretty close to playing the starters even. The problem that they had though is as soon as like LeBron went to the bench and whatever bench unit came in, and then it was like AJ Mitchell and Jared McCain just like feasting on their whole bench units. Like that's where all the games were won, literally. Like if you go back and see, like it's like the like LeBron and the starters like did okay. And then like it'll be like the third quarter, LeBron goes out, and then like the Thunder on like a 20-0 run because like AJ Mitchell and Jared McCain are just going crazy. I think it was an interesting strategy too. Like a lot of times the Lakers, like if you look at Shea's numbers, they weren't all that great except for the closeout game, I feel like. But that's because they were like double and triple teaming Shea at times. And it was like 3v, like, it was like 2v3 on the other side, basically, at times, just because the Lakers were so committed to stopping Shea. It's kind of like the point that Vish brought up, right? In fact, that time they did the opposite. They said, okay, we're gonna stop Shea no matter what. If everyone else wants to win the game, they can do it. But the thing is, the Thunder's players were good enough to win that game. Um, Overall, I think everyone had a pretty good series from their side. The Lakers did keep it close in that last game, but a little bit too late, I think, at that point for the Lakers. Yeah, what were your guys' thoughts on the series?
I think like there were two things that panned out. Like one thing we called out even before the series started was like Lakers like bench and then Lakers offense just scoring 110, like less than 110 points and like winning the Rocket series. And I feel like both of them like just panned out like pretty much like how we thought it would be. Like OKC is just a better team offensively that you're gonna have to score more than 110 points to win against them.
Hmm.
And Lakers bench, like obviously no match for OKC's bench. OKC is just like way too deep. I felt like LeBron, even though he had like a career stat line at like 41 years, 42 years of age, like the bench was just like too much of a difference for him to even like win one game. Like I thought Lakers would pull like one game out, like maybe like game four, and then like OKC wins in five. But like they didn't even have the firepower to do that. I understand Luka was injured, but like, I think like those two things like made a huge difference in that series. And also like Lakers, like I understand Luka's not there for your offensive like struggles, but they could have definitely changed like their output. Like they could have, like for example, Austin Reeves, like I don't know what the hell he was doing that series. I know he came back from an injury, whatever, but people were saying like he's the first or second option. He was like ahead of LeBron James, like he was supposed to get a super max or whatever. But now like everything changes. Like people like Austin Reeves, like Detroit Pistons had this similar problem. Like I just feel like they're not built for like the playoffs. Maybe regular season they show up like 20 points a game or whatever. But come playoff time when teams are like scheming against you, especially like something like OKC who has like really good defense, and these Austin Reeves like posting like tour dates, like I just feel like it's not gonna work out, and it showed out. Hats off to LeBron though. He had like a career stat line. I really like. I was feeling nostalgic the way he was playing. I didn't see like the insane dunks or whatever, but still like the IQ showed out. Like I think he was average. He was more efficient than Shea. I don't know how that happened. With like 25 points a game, prox. But yeah, like he was really good. Hope he plays for like 2 more years. But he just shows that even his like 41-year-old self is better than 99% of the league at their prime. So yeah, I really enjoyed like that aspect of LeBron.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think LeBron's efficiency was better because Shea was getting like triple teamed and double teamed, so that's probably what it was. But yeah, I mean, you think about like what could the series have been if Luka was there. Adding Luka does obviously make them better offensively, does give them a more defensive liability, so there is that. But it probably would have went like 6 games maybe. If Luka was there, but ultimately, this was gonna be the result. The Lakers are just not. They just don't have like the character to really like pull through a playoff series at this point. They're just not really constructed in that way. Um, DeAndre Ayton is he's just not an NBA player. As far as I'm concerned. I don't know what it was. It's like after the series, there's like a video that came out. It was like he just got a new chain. It's a DeAndre
Dominate.
dominating or something. I'm like, brother, like to get that after you guys swept is and the way you played is just blasphemy.
Bro, that one possession. You're talking about that one possession, right? I
Yeah.
forget what game it
Oh
was. Like it
my
was a game 3 or
god.
4. He literally let up like 7, like at least 4 to 5 offensive rebounds on one possession.
Yeah.
And then I think he fouls like AJ Mitchell on like a layup or something. And I was just like, dude, what is going on, bro? Like he was terrible, dude. They got to figure out their big man like thing. I think for sure. That's like they just got to figure it out, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I like play Jackson Hayes or something like, but DeAndre Ayton is just he's kind of plays like a he just plays like he's scared a lot of the time. I think he forgets he's like 7 foot, so like yeah, that's the biggest problem. And yeah, LeBron's LeBron. He's still playing at a very high level despite his age, which I think we still kind of take for granted, even though we're seeing it. He's very very old. We've never seen anything like this, nor probably will be. Um, but it's again, he just can't be Superman against like a team like the Thunder. So, um, yeah, I mean, ultimately, kind of similar to the Sixers Knicks series. The better team won, and it's gonna, it's making for a better conference finals.
Yes, sir. All right, yeah, we can move on to the preview slash game one recap. I mean, bruh, like that game that we saw yesterday was probably the best
Ooh,
game out of all the playoff games so far.
easily.
Like there was so much hype around the series, and for it to deliver like that was just like insane. Um, Obviously I'm a little bit tight at the loss, but like I'll still take it because like that was just like an amazing basketball game. Like I don't think anyone could be upset at that, but yeah, I mean. Dude, Thunder Spurs like is just gonna be a super epic series. You have like two very young teams that are on the rise. Obviously, the defending champs in the Thunder, who just lost their first game of the postseason last night, and then you have the Spurs who are kind of like in the challenger role, but like they have Wembenyama who's just like a complete force of nature. Like he's literally doing stuff that like no one has ever seen before, bruh. Like literally like on prospect level, like this is probably like as close to LeBron as you ever like got. Like I'm did LeBron? I think LeBron made conference finals too, right? Like his first playoff. I'm forgetting. I don't know if he made the conference finals.
I mean,
Yeah, Shruth, just check that and nod. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, I think he made the finals in year 4.
Okay. Yeah. I
7?
bet.
Yeah, against the Spurs, he got swept.
Yeah, that was his 4th year.
No,
Yeah.
but where did he do? What did he go to the conference
Did he
finals in
lose
his
to
first
he
playoff
lost to the
run?
Pistons, didn't he? In
Yeah,
in
no, that
0
was second round. He lost to the Pistons.
in
Oh,
04,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, as I was saying, dude, it's just like a matchup of like epic proportions. I think this is like the first time two 60-win teams have matched up since like it's been like a very long time. Since and it's, if you go like 262 plus wins, I think it's since like 1988 or something. So it's just rare that two teams this good like match up. Like that's why like I know like a lot of people thought this was gonna happen, but I feel like part of me also thinks like when whatever you expect to happen in the NBA like doesn't always end up happening. So I was just like in my head thinking I was like, yeah, there's probably a chance it doesn't happen, but like here we are. Yeah, I mean we can discuss a little bit more basketball and stuff as well, but just what are your guys' thoughts on that game one and the series in general?
Oh, that was a doozy. Double overtime. And I mean, for double overtime, the score was not really as high as it could have been. That's that. Credit to the defense. Credit to also some mistakes by both teams. But it's just like it. The one thing I sort of saw is that the Thunder came out pretty cold in the beginning. And for like a good chunk of the game, it was just Alex Caruso. We're just gonna let Alex Caruso score. They're giving him like the prime LeBron treatment at this point. And he played amazingly, right? Like, are we gonna get an Alex Caruso game like that offensively again? Who knows? Probably not. But I think he was definitely the MVP for the Thunder that game. You just had a bunch of players that took too much time to really warm up, including the MVP Shea. Chet's got to figure a bunch of stuff out, which we'll get into. Jalen Williams, he's just coming back. It's his first game. And for his first game, he played pretty well. Made some big shots down the stretch. So you got to give it to him there. Um, it's just, I think Roger would agree here. Like the week off really like kills you guys in terms of just like, just getting out of the zone and getting your legs back under you. Really just gonna take that one game. And it really seemed like that was the case for the first like 3 quarters. Um, and so yeah, I mean there's still a lot more to talk about, but yeah, Vishal, what do you think?
Yeah, I think like I have a couple analysis points. First one's like I'm gonna go on a rant on Chet. So like I watch like Wemby highlights like in the morning today, but I just focused my lens on Chet. So I was trying to see what was Chet doing while Wemby was scoring. Now, most of the times, he's ball watching. Like, this is not a guy who's like going away to protect the shooter. He's at the elbow. Wemby's in the paint. He's literally ball watching on Wemby, like trying to score. And you can't make a point that, oh, he's trying to protect the 3 point shot because Wemby's not looking back and he's not helping either. And you can see it's like Jay Will or Ludart, like whoever is like undersized. And I feel like that's the difference. Like, I felt like that's why I was mad because I felt like Chet can help out on that. Like that's where your IQ comes in. You got to make those decisions. And the same thing like on offense, like if Wemby is guarding Chet, I'm hoping like Chet shoots three so you can pull Wemby out. He's not doing that either. And Wemby's like smart enough, I think OKC like sort of figured out what the Spurs were doing. So the Spurs' entire tactic was I'm gonna play zone. I'm gonna play like probably a 3-2 with Wemby in the paint. Basically kryptonite for SGA because SGA loves those elbow shots. And they don't have that because not because SGA is not good, because they're throwing 2 players on SGA. SGA figured that out in the second half where like he was like, okay, now you're gonna do that. Like I'm gonna do a ISO call. So I'm gonna like go all alone on one side and then like have all other 4 players on the other side. Now SGA got space, and that's when he got like most of his points in that game. Like I know he ended with 24, but he was struggling with 7 points. And then that's when I call out. I'm like, oh, SGA is playing off ball. He's playing ISO, and then he had the layup. And when you do the ISO, they can sort of see that Wemby cannot help on the layup because when it's an ISO ball, like you're having Chet or whoever like waiting in the paint. So not in the paint, sorry, in the corner three. So Wemby really can't help in the paint. So like SGA can do what he wants. But like Chet gotta help SGA in terms of like pulling Wemby out of the paint. Like he gotta make those threes, he gotta make those shots because you're not guarding Wemby one-on-one on defense anyway. So like I don't understand why you're tired. And if Wemby can do that, you're just as good. I know you're not as good as Wemby, I understand that, but you're just like slightly undersized compared to him. Like you're just 7'1". Like you can still like do whatever. And I feel like that's where like him like just having like one shot in the first half. I feel like he should be doing more. But the Spurs coaching, though, I just felt like they had the game plan on the Thunder, and I feel like that's why they won because Thunder are that good that even after through all that, it went to double OT. Like they were like, oh, we had the better bench, we had the better team, and they sort of knew that. Vassell was like so bad in the first half. I was gonna type a message. I was gonna be like, bro, this guy's gonna cost him the game because De'Aaron Fox is injured. But then he showed up, he made his shots, and I feel like them making those shots, like Champagny had some in like the second half, and I feel like that made the difference for OKC because OKC were like, okay, like this is our best. Like I know we are off shooting night. And the one more call out I had was I know like Rogers getting mad at like Lou Dart getting called for fouls on getting position on Wemby. The problem was like people do that to me too when I was playing on the court. You can take position out, but like you have to make sure when you use your elbow or whatever on the lower back the like the body should not bend. That's what like gives it out to the refs. So you have to keep pushing him out. It can't be a sudden burst where like just like your lower back or like your butt just like goes out and your head just stays in front. So your body's just like going back like that, and like you sort of can tell like how much force he's putting on. And I don't feel like that was really a Wemby flop. I just felt like that was a problem on Lou Dart because somebody who's like that good, like you learn from Draymond Green, like what you need to do. Like you have to use your like back and body to sort of push him out the entire time. Like you don't suddenly take position, and I feel like the refs caught on to that. But that's something he can learn off. It's not like a huge mistake. Like he can learn off of that next game where I feel like he's gonna make sure he establishes that position early and make sure Wimby takes like mid-range shots rather than in the paint, or he has to do a lot of work. And I feel like that can change. And I also feel like SGA sort of figured out what they were doing in the second half either. So like I feel like game two, like he's gonna run more of ISO and make sure like do what he does. But the only thing I need to change, like I said, is like Chet, because I don't know where Chet goes from here. Like
Yeah.
he needs to be more dominant and more assertive. But that's on the OKC side. Spurs side, uh, Dylan Harper, like I think I saw like a lot of like basketball IQ moves. Like I haven't seen a young team who can actually run off like a 3-2 zone like that. Because a 3-2 zone, the hard part is like you are not guarding man on man. You have to literally keep on running to the person who's open on the outside. Like you don't like really okay. Like a guy crosses you over, you let him go to Wemby. You immediately run to the other person so he doesn't get open shot. And they were doing that. And Dylan Harper, like hats off, like I saw him do that all game. He got like all the steals.
Yeah.
He was trying to like run immediately. I think like he got like 2 steals off of Jabo. I saw that. Shout out to like Spurs coach again, but like I feel like this team, like I underestimated their basketball IQ. I thought like OKC like have their championship, they have experience, they're gonna like have better IQ, so they're gonna know what to do. They sort of saw that like I think like the second half they went on like a 10-0 run where like Spurs just did not score. But I just feel like Spurs like showed up sort of. I know I'm underplaying what Wemby did. I understand who Wemby is, but these are just like the observations I saw from the game, which I was just like amazed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to take away from this game. I think you bring up a lot of good points, Vish. I mean, Wemby was definitely getting a lot of his stuff at the rim too, which I think is like fine, right? Like you can't stop all of that. I think part of the thing that sucked for the Thunder too is like whenever they would have the smalls on him, like Lou Dort or J Dub, you would basically see like, okay, sometimes they were able to force Wemby to miss the shot, but then no one was there to get the board, and it's easy for Wemby to easily get an offensive rebound over someone like Dort or J-Dub, right? So I think it's fine if Dort or J-Dub guard him. But like, yeah, I think Chet was definitely caught in no man's land a lot. I mean, he's been kind of passive, like I think overall in the Spurs, like all the Spurs matchups. I think he just needs to understand that it's fine if he gets embarrassed, like Wemby's gonna block him a few times. He's gonna get dunked on a few times. Who cares? Like, I think you just have I think the whole Thunder team like message, like that I think Wemby had like one block in the first half, and that's a credit to him. But like the reason he didn't have more is because the Thunder just weren't challenging him, right? And I
Yeah.
feel like that's like what's killing the offense the most. Like I understand that Wemby is like a crazy force of nature, and he's probably like the greatest shot blocker like we've ever seen in our like day in life, right? But you can't just like I think when players like just dribble to the rim when they have a step on him and they don't even take the shot or don't even pump fake or like make him think about it, I think then like you're making his impact greater than it should be. Like I think you just have to like try to take a layup and see if you get fouled, or try a pump fake and see if he'll jump and get him in the air and draw fouls. Like I think the Thunder had a stretch of like I think it was they drew like 3 fouls basically in like one of the
Yeah.
overtimes or something. So it's like, bruh, like if you can do that, like you can at least make him think about it. He has more fouls, you can't play him as much. Then Cornette is in the game longer. That's like your strategy to win, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, I think they have a lot of adjustments to like make. I think you could look at it that like yeah, Caruso had like an insane game. Like I give Caruso my hats off, man. That brother's a dog. Like I thought he was about to win that game on his own, that ass. But like I think it's fine that they lost that game. I think they have like they know what they need to improve, but at the end of the day, like the best players is what? Like Chet, Shea, J Dub, and like I would even put AJ Mitchell on that list, right? Like Isaiah Hartenstein is up there, but AJ Mitchell is who they rely on for offense now. He averaged like 22 points per game in that Lakers series. Like AJ Mitchell himself had like 2 shots or something in like the whole of regulation. Like those three have to figure out how to get their offense going. Shea, Chet, and AJ. And like if that's not gonna happen, like they're not gonna win, right? But I don't know. I think it's a long series. Like the Thunder have been in this position in the past. Um, I know this Spurs team is obviously way better than Denver last year, but literally like last year, Denver, I think Jokic also gave them like 40 and 25 or something in game one, bro. Like it just takes time to adjust to these otherworldly players, bro. Like you
Yeah.
can't, it's hard to figure it out on the first time you're playing this guy. Like, so I would just like, give them time. It's a long series. I'm curious to see how it goes from here though.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up AJ Mitchell, and he had a really good series last series. I think if you do go back and look at how he was scoring, shoot, what are you doing,
Yeah, what is going on, Shruth?
bro? You're gonna get us banned. The hell's wrong with you? Jesus Christ, bro! Oh my God, this guy.
Who's gonna have to cut
Oh,
this out?
oh my god! I'm gonna put a censor bar over his. This guy's showing his whole fucking. Okay. Um. So AJ Mitchell, if you go back and look at the ways he was scoring, most of it was in the paint, or somewhere like from 10 feet out, like maybe like 7 feet out, something like that. They just have to play him and run plays for him on the non-Wemby minutes. That's the only times he's gonna be able to do what he does. Because players like SGA or Jalen Williams, they can figure something else out or make plays for other people. AJ Mitchell's not really gonna be that person right now. At least you need him to score. So non-Wemby minutes, AJ Mitchell's got to be in there. I got a bone to pick with Isaiah Hartenstein. This guy had 2 rebounds. 2 rebounds. I don't care if you're with Wemby. You got to figure something else out. Maybe someone's got to box out Wemby for him to get rebounds, or he's got to box out Wemby. But 2 rebounds for your like premier center, your traditional center, just is unacceptable. So and he's been like the guy, right, for your team that's like guy and especially like offensive boards and like swung it out to like the 3-pointer. So like he's got to be better in that aspect. He's got to figure it out. Vishal, a point you brought up earlier about Chet trying, having to figure out where he needs to be on the floor. We saw that at the end of the game, right? The one layup that SGA had where
Yeah,
he beat, I think it
finally.
was
I'm
Stephon
glad I bring that up.
Castle, right? Like he beat Stephon Castle, I think it
Yeah,
was. And he saw Wemby. He was trying to see if Wemby was gonna, commit.
yeah,
Chet was in the corner, and then he just
yeah.
laid it up, right? That needs to happen a lot more. But that's communication, and that's like Chet taking that initiative. So hopefully they can do that more. Put Wemby in those tough, spots. And I think it'll be good for them.
Yeah, I think Chet on box outs, like that was the other thing I was seeing. I was like, Wemby getting the rebound, I was like, what was Chet doing? So Chet was in the paint right behind Wemby. The minute they shot the ball, instead of going for the rebound and boxing out Wemby, helping out J Will, he runs out to the shooter. I don't know if that's what like Dagnall like asked him to do, but that was very weird for me because he knew J Will was losing the rebound battle. Like, why would he not help out on Wemby? Like, try to box him out, try to make it as hard as he can, make him tired, do whatever. Like, I feel like at that point, you should not be running out to like a shooter. Like, whatever, fuck it. Like, if he gets a rebound, he gets a rebound. Like, Wemby is more of an issue. I feel like those are the things he can learn. But like, yeah, like that layup, like on offense, I think that's when like they figured out. Like I said, they ran Shea ISO on one side and everybody else sitting on the other side, and that was the one the offense that was working because Wemby was neutralized. He couldn't like really help out on that. And Shea is just like he's MVP. Obviously, he can take anybody one on one, and I feel like that worked out. So I think we're going to be seeing more of that in game 2. But yeah, excited for the series.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just looking back at it too, like very simply put, like the Spurs hit a lot of big shots in that game. Like I'm thinking back to like the end of regulation, like I think Vassell and Champagny both had like crazy like corner threes when like the Thunder played like perfect defense, and then like at the last second it's like 1 second left on the shot clock. These guys are firing from three and they both hit. So like those are pretty important plays. I'm thinking back to like overtime when like Caruso was like hit that three and like they had a chance. I think AJ Mitchell like pulled a three early when he probably should have dribbled out
Oh
some clock.
yeah.
And then J Dub had like a pretty poor mid-range shot that like that's like another thing, right? It's like when the margins for error are that close, it's like the second you miss a close, like if you have like a bad miss on a shot, it could
Yeah.
literally like spark like a fast break on the other side,
Or that
like and that's
2v1, or
yeah, or
like
the 2v1.
or
They
not
had
getting
so
that,
many
not
opportunities.
stripping that ball from Dylan Harper at the end there.
For real, dude. Like there were so many
Yeah.
like 50-50 balls that you're just like, damn, if the Thunder get like two or three of those, they could have pulled it off.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes like that's how it works, right? Like I mean, this Thunder team is like pretty hard to beat at home. Like, it's like both like the last three times they've lost is like the Aaron Gordon shot, the Halliburton shot, and then now like this crazy Wemby shot. So like it takes a lot to beat them, but I give credit to the Spurs. I mean, they did it, like, and it's gonna be like, it's gonna be a series now. Like they
Yeah.
say series don't start until a road team wins. Well, they already won.
So what do you
Yeah.
guys think I guess one, the impact of not having De'Aaron Fox on the game was for the Spurs, and like what do you think he's gonna help with? Like what do you think it's gonna change for game 2?
I think it was huge. Like I felt like Spurs were running around like headless. Like I thought like De'Aaron Fox is not that important to that offense. And then I saw how Devin Vassell was playing for the first half. And I was like, bruh, these guys like have no idea like how to like what play to run or whatever. They were just like running around. And I felt like yes, De'Aaron Fox would have made that difference. Um, So like I actually didn't know he was out. Like I thought he was in the game. I was like because Raj was like, bro, they're not even playing the bench. They just had three people playing them from the bench. I'm like, something's wrong here. And then I looked it up and then I was like, oh wait, De'Aaron
Pretty
Fox is
close.
injured. That's why
Yeah.
like this man's starting. Um, but yeah, also I have a question to Raj though. Like, do you think like Caruso or your role player can do this repeatedly? Because we saw this in the 2019 like Raptors Warriors series where Durant and Thompson are not playing. It was just Curry. And what Nick Nurse did was, I'm going to throw a box and one. Steph Curry can do whatever. Maybe he'll get like 25 points with a high usage rate. But like, if you want to beat us, you're going to have like your third or fourth best shooter make that shot. Now, Caruso made that shot. Like, he went for 8 of 13. But they're going to live it because Lou Dort wasn't making shots. Like, hopefully Caruso
Yeah.
made it. But like, I feel like Spurs are going to do that again, where they're like, okay, bro, like, you're going to get your points. But if your role player is going to keep doing that for like 4 out of 7 games, like you have to win. And I don't think like Caruso can do that like 4 out of 7 games. He can maybe do it two
Yeah.
games. Like what do you think? Do you think OKC has that firepower if they keep throwing the same tactic to have the role players make that many threes?
I mean, I think it's a pretty popular strategy that teams have like done to them in the past. Like, I think the Nuggets and Pacers, like, namely, they kind of like played like this sort of style too. I feel like it works to a certain extent, but if Shea and J Dub are like playing well, then I don't honestly don't think it really matters because like in those types of games, they're able to get their shots off and they're generating enough offense that like that doesn't dictate the game. I don't think that was the case yesterday. Like in yesterday's game, it was literally like, okay, like this game feels like it's dictated on whether Caruso is hitting threes and like Blue Door is hitting threes or whatever. Like the game can't be dictated by that. You know, like it's fine for a few possessions to take that, but you can't take that every single time. But I feel like the Thunder, at least especially in that first half, like they were super willing to take that three. And I feel like as a Thunder, you just can't be willing to take that, you know, like keep passing it. Obviously, you'll have one game where whatever Ludort might be making it, one game where Caruso might be making it, but it's hard to rely on that. Um, Another point that I wanted to bring up, I actually feel like it might be like a hot take, but I think like the Thunder might be better when De'Aaron Fox plays. I think they'll have like less turnovers, the Spurs will, but I think like Lou Dort or whoever, like or Cason Wallace or Caruso, I think they have a better chance at stopping De'Aaron Fox compared to Castle or Harper, just because I think Castle and Harper are like super strong. So like no matter what, like even if you can like contain them, I feel like they just like bump people in the chest and they can generate like a little bit of space and like get fouled or like try to make the shot. And like I feel like the team really struggled with Harper because like and I feel like Fox is not that type of player, right? Like Fox is like more quick. He's not really gonna like bump people off their spot. So like I'd be curious to see like okay if Fox like actually plays like although they might not turn the ball over, I think like they have a better chance at stopping Fox maybe compared to Castle and Harper. Like I think
No, but
those two
Fox
dudes
is
are just bigger
gonna
and more
sub in
physical, dude.
for like Devin Vassell though. Like those
Wait,
two
what do
are
you say?
still gonna be playing. Like Fox is gonna sub in for Devin Vassell. Like that's the point guard. Like Harper
No, no,
and
no. Harper will go to the bench.
who's their three?
Yeah, Vassell. Yeah, they usually start Fox, Vassell, Champagny, and Wemby and
Oh,
what's
you're
his
saying
face?
Vassell will still be starting? Oh,
Yeah, I'm
nice.
saying Vassell will probably still be starting. Yeah,
Okay, okay, I see.
at least that's how they've been doing it. I don't know if they'll change that for this series, but yeah,
Yeah,
usually
they
they
might
had
change
Harper
it now
coming off
that
the
you're
bench.
saying that they might have some trouble against like Harper, so maybe they might throw Vassell on the bench. But
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, this is, but it's so interesting to try to figure out. But I don't know. I'm excited, man. I think it'll be a really good series, and I don't know, Brad. Like, it's gonna be a crazy series, dude. Like,
yeah, they're just two like evenly matched. Like one got like better bench, one got like Wemby, one got like SGA and ISO, and you got
yeah,
like
yeah,
role players, each one of their own strength, and then you have like two like master coaches. Like I just feel like this series is gonna be so fire.
yeah, yeah, for sure. All right. I think that about does it.
Wait,
Oh
real
wait, did
quick,
we make? Good,
real quick.
good.
Did game one change any of your guys' predictions for this series?
For what? Knicks, Cavs,
Oh
or
no, for
Spurs, Thunder?
Spurs Thunder.
I mean, Cavs are up
Nah.
20 as we talk about it, but
I guess I'll still go with Knicks and 6. But y'all heard what I said about the Knicks, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with Knicks in 6, and I think I picked Spurs in 7 before. That I think I'll stick with that as well.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go Knicks in 7 still. I think it's just like a fluke game. I didn't really get to watch too much of it, so I'll take a look and see what actually happened here. But I'm still gonna go Thunder in 7. I think it's going 7 games for sure. You can't really do too much off of game 1, and again, right, Spurs won 40-20 game for Wemby, but it was double overtime at the end of the day. So
Yeah, bro. It's gonna be tough. I might pick the Spurs to lose.
let's go. Yo, I believed you for a second. That was crazy.
Nah, my favorite podcast that I listen to, they do that shit all the time. It's so funny. Shout out
That's
Down to Dunk,
awesome.
man. That's
Oh
literally
man.
what they do.
Oh man. Yo, Shruth,
Yeah, but
any parting words?
I need Raj to give me my money. $5 on the
Bro.
line.
Oh
For
yeah,
what?
we have a
Hey,
bet
Give me
going
five,
on.
buddy.
We have a
Yes,
let's
sir.
friend.
go, man. Let's see how it goes.
You still got 6 games left, buddy.
I'm actually so excited for both these series. Gonna be peak.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
ex-
let me just
James
throw out my
James Harden
prediction.
Finals
James
MVP, bro.
Harden's MVP. Yeah.
I got Spurs in like 7, and I have the Cavs in like 6.
Oh,
So
Cavs in
Cavs.
6. Okay, controversial.
Yeah.
We like
Damn,
that.
bro.
Did you have Cavs before game 1 though, or like game 1 influenced that?
I mean, I already said, but James Harden Finals MVP.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about
That's
that.
how it be, dude.
He's gonna pick the Cavs anyway.
Wait, are you gonna pick him for Western Conference or Eastern Conference MVP too?
Yes. Actually, I think Donovan Mitchell probably has it.
All right, if the
You only do that against Wemby or
It-
like Thunder.
if the Cavs
Yes.
get to the finals, you got to get a Harden Cavs jersey.
True. I will do it.
Yes.
Hey,
Oh, that's my Uber.
all right, boys. It was a good pod. Thank
All
you
right,
all for
guys.
listening. We'll be here back after for the finals preview.
Yes. We will be back. Shea got his MVP as we predicted.
Oh yeah.
And we
Bro.
will be back right before right before the NBA Finals. We'll be back. Give a really good recap. We'll see how these series go. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.